Communications and Public Affairs Disney Signature Experiences, Yolanda Kane.
Hey everyone, how's it going? How are y'all feeling out there? Are you enjoying the Disney treasure? I don't know. Pam, do you believe, are you enjoying the Disney treasure? That's a lot better. Well, listen, thank you for joining us today. We started out this journey sharing that the Disney treasure is themed to adventure. And I hope that what you've discovered over these last few days is that there is truly adventure around every single corner. So we are excited to spend this time with you today. When I tell you I'm excited to talk about this ship, I cannot wait to talk about this ship. But I am not alone. I brought some friends along and they have a lot to share. So I am pleased to introduce some of the designers, the creators, the dreamers, the doers, who actually brought the Disney treasure that we are all sailing on, this beautiful ship, to life. Would you like to meet them? Okay, all right. Well, I want you to help me give them a warm round of applause, and we're going to share some really fun and insightful details about the ship today. So I'm going to start first with our Senior Creative Director for Creative Portfolio, Walt Disney World Imagineering, Jason Rogers. Come on up, Jason. He's also wearing a very cool Imagineering t-shirt. You're very appropriately dressed today. All right. Vice President of Live Entertainment for Disney Signature Experiences, Jenny Weinbloom. Come on up, Jenny. Hey, Jenny, welcome. Vice President of Entertainment Operations for Disney Cruise Line, and my travel sister, Rachel Quinn. Hey, Rachel. Director of Hotel Operations for Merchandise, Photo, Spa, and Operations, Gary LeDoux. Absolutely. Our Director for Hotel Operations for Lodging, a place where you are sleeping, for Disney Cruise Line, Shelley Gold-Whittier. Come on up, Shelley. And our Show Director for Disney Live Entertainment, Juan Cantu. Come on up, Juan. And last but certainly not least, because this relates to the food, our Senior Manager of Dining Standards, Service Excellence, Hotel Operations, and Food and Beverage. Give a warm welcome to Daniel Cohen. And this is our panel of Avengers. So let's get into it. What do you say? You all ready? All right, so Jason, you're to my left, so I'm just gonna jump right in with you. How's that sound? Okay. So let's start, at the heart of the Disney treasure. We talked about the fact that it's themed to adventure, and really Walt's love of exploration. I mean, he loved to explore the world. That was a big inspiration for that. So as an Imagineer, can you talk about how your team went about the process of just capturing that sense of adventure and then incorporating that into everything that the ship design sort of reflects that we're seeing?
Sure, yeah. Well, it's like you said, it was Walt's love of travel, exploring new, unknown, mysterious, romantic places, and learning about their culture, learning about their storytelling. We really have a truly rich history of storytelling at Disney, and so we focused on all those amazing stories that we've told throughout the decades, and focusing on the adventure aspect of it. So when you think about all of the animated films, they all have a bit of adventure to them, no matter what the story is, whether it's Moana or whether it's Miguel and Coco. They're all going on an adventure of some kind. So being able to tell those stories in 3 dimensions aboard the ship, from the moment that you come into the Grand Hall and you see the story of Aladdin, the magic carpet in front of you with Aladdin and Jasmine, and the architecture, which references Morocco and Asia and Africa. It's just setting the scene for everything that you're going to explore here, and then being able to create these places and have it brought to life by our Disney Cruise Line crew and the entertainment crew. That's just really exciting to give them the palette on which to tell their stories too. So it's like I said, it's such a rich Disney storytelling history. It was pretty easy to come up with some amazing adventure stories to tell.
Yeah, so exciting to see it all come to life and just to hear that backstory. So I want to build on that a little bit. Obviously at Disney Cruise Line, we have just a deep history of immersing our guests in the Disney stories. And we do that in really unique and ordinary ways. And we do that with every person and every organization represented on the stage. With the Disney Treasure, we really took that to really new heights because we did something we've never done before. We looked at the most iconic, park attractions, and we look for new ways to bring those adventures to sea for the very first time. So I'm wondering, can you talk a little bit about how we approach creating these spaces that all of us have walked into and just said, wow, right? Like the Haunted Mansion parlor, and how do you honor those historic attractions and then build on those? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
For sure. And as an Imagineer coming from the division that developed these theme park attractions, I think that the most important thing was to be authentic to those attractions. I mean, Haunted Mansion parlor. I mean, it's like its own unique version of Haunted Mansion, right? I mean, it's so authentic down to the details. It's the wallpaper. It's those distinctive chair designs, those bat sconces on the wall. We want you to feel like you're in Haunted Mansion. We want you to be part of that story. We wanted to immerse you and envelop you there. And even in something like Skipper Society, where it's not quite as immersive, but all of the hints are all around you. Those corny, terrible jokes. You see them printed on the wall. You see them around you in some of the props that are around there. Just the little details, the canopy above the bar that makes it feel like that's one of the boats from Jungle Cruise. That's what we really wanted to convey. We wanted you to feel like the attraction was right there and you were a part of it. Even Periscope up 20,000 leagues, that's also a great one. I think we really had a lot of fun doing that as well. So we just wanted to make you feel like we brought a version of those attractions on board and for you to experience it there in a way that you haven't before.
All in the details, right? And well done. Don't you all agree? Fantastic. So Jenny, I'm going to come to you. We obviously had an opportunity to debut a lot of new firsts, which we talked about with Jason. But when you think about the spirit of adventure, there's no better adventure to think about, right, really, than Moana. And so many of us had an opportunity to experience Disney's Tale of Moana at Walt Disney Theater last night. I'm hearing from everyone it was amazing. But can you talk a little bit about the process of creating it, bringing it to life, this incredible story for the first time? Can you just share a little bit with them about that?
Absolutely. It was such a tremendous honor for the Disney Live Entertainment team to create the first ever stage adaptation of Moana. Something I mentioned to some of you when we were speaking earlier today. One of the incredible things about the film is that it sings. It has this incredible score by Lin-Manuel Miranda. It has the structure of a musical embedded in it. It's such a natural fit for the stage. But when we first set out to develop this stage musical adapted from Moana, we knew that we at Disney Live Entertainment and Walt Disney Imagineering, we couldn't do this alone. We were going to need to bring in incredible partners to tell this story. Both experts from the Broadway community, like our director Connor Gallagher, puppet designer Michael Curry Designs, who created the iconic puppets from Lion King on Broadway. We needed that incredible talent to help us tell the story, but we also needed authentic cultural leaders from Hawaii and the Pacific Islands to help us tell the story, like our choreographer Peter Rockford Espiritu and our music cultural consultant Aaron Salah. These voices helped us define what it meant to take the story out of animation and onto the stage, to find the visual language, find the musical language that I think touched all of our hearts so much last night. And every time we perform the show, I would also be remiss not to acknowledge our unbelievable cast. We have a phenomenal cast in this show. Unbelievable talents we were able to bring to the stage, many of whom are from Hawaii and Pacific Islands of Hawaiian diaspora. And it's been so moving and powerful to have them deeply embedded in the development of this story from our very first readings all the way through our workshops to today. It's been an incredible collaborative process.
Thank you for that, Jenny. Thank you. Just absolutely powerful. I looked at the faces of everyone in the theater, myself included, and I'll tell you, I sent Jenny and Rachel and anybody else who was in my email distribution last night that said, wow, this is amazing. I was blown away. So even as cast members, we just love and appreciate the way you told the story, so thank you. Rachel, we're going to continue in the spirit of entertainment, so that's a very fun place to be. The Disney Treasure, as everyone is, experiencing now, it's just packed with all sorts of offerings that delights our guests of all ages. And so I'm wondering if you can just talk to us a little bit about what families can look forward to as they sail with us, because we are purpose-built for families, and I wonder if you could share a little bit about that journey for them, what that looks like for families.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, as you mentioned, the ship has been designed with families in mind, and so with that, Jenny and I, we get to really, it's a living theatre from Barchester. So all these different things we can do in all these different venues, and my team here on board, so the cruise director, the event host, etc., are able to bring these creations from Disneyland Entertainment to the guests, right? And so it's a tremendous partnership, and we just love what we can do for our guests. So this wonderful venue, Sarabi, for example, in the daytime, we will have family events and activities that the families can be together and enjoy. Then after 9 o'clock at night, it's the adult venue. You know, maybe it's Sarabi, maybe it's a summer club, and maybe we, you know, it's adults only to enjoy the Disney adult events that we have planned. So you may also find in here, hopefully you got to meet Coriander and Sage, our amazing comedic actors here on board, immersive actors, and in here they can do something called Choose Wisely, an Indiana Jones comedy adventure, and it is fast-paced, slapstick comedy. I think that's the only way to describe it. A lot of fun. I mean, the guests are belly laughing when they see this. You can't quite cope with what you're seeing because it's moving so fast. But it's so much fun and something very unique to the Disney Treasure. We've never offered something like this on any of our other ships, and it's fantastic. You may then, you know, we head into the Grand Hall, which is absolutely stunning. Thank you, Jason and team. And in there, it might be a character dance party. It might be our amazing Vitrophonics that hopefully you got to see them, our musicians with some of our singers here on board as well. And then, you know, to Hero Zone. And Hero Zone, if you made it up there, is a fantastic family venue that we have. While, yes, it's a lot to do with sports, we also have Tink's Neverland Challenge, where families and guests of all ages can see if they can meet the challenge. And it's a time challenge. Some are physical challenges, some are more mental challenges. But it's a lot of fun, and it's just something that we're very proud of here at Disney Cruise Line, and that's why we have so many multi-generational families that sail with us, because truly we have something for everyone. And I'll just finally touch on youth activities, very dear to my heart. And you know, if you've got a baby, 6 months to 3-year-old, we've got you covered. You've got kids 3 to 10, we got you covered. We got your tweens covered, we got your teens covered, and not just covered, but they have the time of their lives. And 3 to 10s, it's secured programming, so guess what? The parents, guardians who's had a sailing with them get to go and enjoy Paolo's or a cocktail, knowing that your kids are not only secured, but having the time of their lives in ways only Disney would be able to offer to them. So a lot to do for families, Yolanda, a lot to do for everybody.
Absolutely, Rachel. And I know we hear several kids declare that they now live aboard any ship that they're on, whether their parents go to retrieve them from the Oceaneers Club. So absolutely, we know that to be true. So thank you for that. Daniel, I'm going to hop over to you, right? Because it's dining, and you know, dining aboard the Disney Treasure is really its own adventure, right? And so there's so many dining experiences here that really elevate the whole culinary journey, right? There's so many ways to experience dining here. So I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about what our guests will experience on the Treasure, everything from the menus to all the unique settings that they're going to be in as they're, you know, having all those culinary delights. Talk about that.
Absolutely. So what we did, we kept our rotational dining, one of our guests' favourites, to ensure our families are comfortable, not having to queue up, not having to reserve tables, etc. But with a 7-day product, we're able to offer very unique experiences each time you rotate through a different venue, while you still have your same service team taking care of the needs, they've got to know you. So you have that familiar, comfortable service, yet you get truly different experiences each night. I know on this cruise, obviously, you're only getting a little sneak peek of some of those experiences. But for example, our new show in World of Marvel, we have Baby Groot as the host, and it is really good fun. A lot of fun, very engaging. It's really the first time we've had kind of interactive technology for the families to play with during dinner. Plaza de Coco, I know Cloud will talk more in a few minutes. We just immerse you in the story, and they are two very distinct, different experiences. The first night is all about family, getting to spend time together with the Riviera family, a lot more of the traditional folklore, getting you ready for the second night. So it's really exciting because our service teams, like I say, who follow you, they can help build that journey with you through the cruise. Of course, we do have distinct menus each time we do rotate. So, for example, my Team 23 does have 2 different menus. Much like entertainment, we do strive to have something for everybody. So again, we kept Power, which is one of our guest favorites, but like the Wish, we have expanded that to be Power Steakhouse with a lot more offerings. Enchanté, truly beautiful restaurant, can really sit up there with any of the big city top restaurants in the world. So these are great places for adults to go, relax, enjoy some quiet dining time. And then as you see on the pool deck, we have Festival of Foods with a great selection of different offerings. We still kept our 24-hour complimentary room service. So really there's a lot of options for our guests, not getting all of the fantastic bars and lounges we've spoken about. So really, we do try to make sure we differentiate while we keep some of our guests' favorites. And of course, we have our crew, who for me are really the secret sauce that tie everything together.
Absolutely. Thank you, Daniel. They really are the real treasure. And how many people have been loving all of the culinary delights that you're experiencing? Clap it up. I see all of you, all of everything, right? So well done. It's just been a delight to experience it. So Daniel actually touched on Plaza de Coco, and we've been talking with you quite a bit, over this journey about what a standout addition it is to the Disney Cruise Line fleet. It's one of the first. So many of them, and we're really excited. And I'm wondering, can you talk a little bit about, how we are celebrating, Mexican culture there, and everything from the food to the experience to the music that we have there. I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit more about Plaza de Coco, what makes it so special, and how we really bring that story of Miguel and his family to life there.
We had a unique opportunity to take the story and pick it up 3 years later. And the beauty of that is that Miguel is a teenager, and we got to see how music has truly and intrinsically changed the Rivera family. And so night one, as Daniel mentioned, is about familia. You do get to meet them again and see how music has healed them since the death of Mama Coco, but also how they're flourishing and how their lives have changed. And we hope that our families that dine in there resonate with that while eating delicious Mexican food and meet the Rivera family transformed. And then on night 2, we are celebrating Dia de Muertos, and that's such an honor as a Mexican American to be part of telling that story in an authentic way, because it isn't just a story. This is part of a culture that is celebrated and honored in Mexico, and the beauty of culture is that it's meant to be shared. And the fact that we get to share that with all of our guests, no matter where you're from, my hope is that you take that away with you, and that if our families can start doing an ofrenda of their own on Dia de Muertos and celebrating as a happy occasion all of their loved ones.
Thank you, Daniel. And I know many of you will experience Plaza de Coco for the first time tonight, so really looking forward to everyone being able to experience all of the flavors, the design, and the inspiration that you're talking about. So thank you for that. We're very proud of it. Now, Shelley, I'm going to talk to you for just a moment. When you think about the beauty of the Disney treasure, the accommodations are certainly a big part of that. From the family accommodations, we have cozy retreats, beautiful staterooms. So I'm wondering if you can share how we approach the staterooms to design them to meet, the needs of all of our guests. Can you just talk about breadth and scope a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, I have to ask, I hope you've all had a restful night's sleep since you've actually been on board. It really does feel like you're sleeping in a cloud, right? Yeah, well, just like all of our Disney Cruise Line ships, we have continued with that family-first approach to the design and to our staterooms here on the Disney Treasure. We have really continued with this split bathroom design, which you all know if you're traveling with multiple family members, it really does help when you have two spaces to be able to get ready, especially for the day. Ample storage, you know, we have 75% of our staterooms on board that have a connecting door to the adjacent stateroom next door. So those extended family, the friends, you know, you can remain together and enjoy a space together that's been expanded. You know, being on a 7-day voyage, you really do have a lot of luggage because there's a lot of clothes that you need to bring, and so we've continued as well with the elevated beds so that we can tuck all of that luggage underneath. And you know, it's spacious, it's comfortable, it's functional, and you know, with all of that incredible custom artwork and the mural behind the bed, it really draws from those iconic movies and Disney characters, all in the theme of adventure. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the stateroom hosts and the housekeeping team and the emotional connection that they build with each one of you and each one of our guests, and their creativity, especially with those unbelievable towel animals that you received at the end of the night. I'm sure they brought a smile to your face when you returned. Yeah.
I think they'll all be attempting to make them when they get home. Right?
Yeah, good luck with
the chocolates for the eyes, right? If any of you have attempted that, there's some people who are saying yes, we tried, we're gonna try to duplicate it. Thank you, Shelley, for making sure we all are enjoying just an amazing, restful voyage. They all look very well rested. You're feeling good. So Gary, we're gonna come to you, and you cover a lot of ground in your area, but you know, when you think about a trip, there's really no better way to sort of punctuate your journey or market than having a great keepsake, right? And there's some great merchandise on board the Disney Treasure. To help you do that, you talk a little bit about the merchandise that's on board, how special it is.
Sure, absolutely. So I think, you know, our teams are inspired by the theme of the Disney Treasure, which is adventure, and we take that and lead into it. The very first step, though, is to reveal the name of the ship, and you have to know how many letters, and we start playing around with the design. There's only a few people that know the actual name at that point, and we're working on it, and then you get the and it fits perfectly right underneath the word Disney, and that's what we aim to please when we develop the product, to really say that you want a Disney Treasure. But we do take inspiration from all of the great creative that you see throughout the show. And WDI and our partners have really made these spaces something that we can really draw from and be able to come up with a product that, you know, starts with the Grand Hall and the statue of Castle and Aladdin, and it really looks like they're getting ready to sail away on an adventure. So we made the statue, and that's something for you to take home and remind yourself that you were on the Disney Treasure. So we're looking at all of those elements that are throughout the ship. We have a collection called Sea Trinkets that's inspired by Haunted Mansion, the parlor, as well as Periscope Hub, Historical Society Group. So we've got product that ties back to things that our partners have created, and then you all can take that home. And then when you're thinking about this piece 6 months, 9 months, a year from now, or even 5 years from now, these little keepsakes, these souvenirs are going to trigger that memory, especially those cute ear hats. So cute. And you got your spirit jersey, and you got, you know, ornaments, and especially with the Grand Hall, the lanterns. I mean, we took that inspiration and created an ornament that's shaped like the lantern, right? To really tie back to that. So there's a lot of thought that goes into this, but it's pretty easy when you have a lot of creative to work with. Sometimes too much. You gotta like, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we do this now, we save it. So we really work hard to come up with colorations and make sure that we're delivering on that product, so that when you take it home, you really truly feel like that's the Disney Treasure. And each one is unique, and you can get it exclusively on board the Disney Treasure.
Thank you for that, Gary. In addition to those treasures that you can pack in your bag, you know, there are also those treasured memories and experiences. And so can you talk about, you know, even beyond the merchandise, what are some of the other onboard experiences that our guests can have when they're on board?
Yeah, I mean, we brought back some of our, you know, guest favorites, like the Dippy Boppy Boutique for children ages 3 to 12. Transform yourself into a prince, princess, Captain Mickey, or even Captain Minnie. We have a takeover on Pirate Night. The whole family would come and get transformed into a pirate. So we have something there for the kids, but we don't forget about the adults. You know, while the kids are playing around in the kids club, you all get to play in Census Hall. Our listeners at sea. We lay hands on you. And everybody gets that massage. and you undoubtedly fall asleep. But it's okay, because then you get to go to the rainforest. You guys seen the rainforest?
How many people have seen the rainforest?
Okay, I'll tell you. When I do the tour for the rainforest, I have to tell everybody, I'm gonna take you to the spa, this is a reception, I'm taking you to the changing room, I'm gonna show you some of the changing rooms, but when I get to the rainforest, I'm going to lose you. Because you're all gonna wanna lay down on those heated loungers, go into the, the hammam and the dry sun, or frigid air, and then you're gonna go outside to the expansive outdoor portion of the rainforest, and no one wants to leave. The tour is basically over at that point. But that's a space for 18 and above. That's for our adults to go and play while the kids are having their fun. We've got our spaces to have fun as well. We also have Cook's Barbering. So you can go in there, male and female, you can go in there, you can get yourself a nice haircut, you get yourself a smoked old fashioned while you're sitting in the chair, and they'll give you a nice scalp massage, and you will fall asleep. It's okay. Just don't spill the bourbon. You do. And then we got Untangled Salon, where we've taken the theme from the animated movie Rapunzel and added little hints inside of our salon for the manicures and pedicures. And you'll see Pascal, these little hints of Disney IP in there, again, thanks to our partners in WDI. And then you get dressed up to then go to Palo Steakhouse or go to Enchanté. So kids are fine. We've got so much for the adults to do as well.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that, Gary, because that really sort of rounds out the experience and brings it full circle. So as you can see, so many things to do. We literally don't even have enough time to dig into all of them. So I'm going to ask one final question of the panel. So kind of going back to the beginning, Disney Treasure represents the spirit of adventure. You use the term living theater. It really is that. There's adventure around every corner. And so while it's hard, bless you. And so while it's hard to pick a favorite, I'm going to ask you to do the impossible, but tell me, we love every part of all of our ships, but do you have a favorite part of this ship? And if so, why? Can you talk about this? I'm going to start with you, Daniel, just quick hits. And spoiler alert, now we're coming to you to ask questions next, so start thinking of them. So Daniel, what's your favorite part?
I'm going to cheat a little bit. I still go back to the crew, and I think we build all these incredible ships, incredible experiences, but the crew is what brings it to life and makes it special. And for me, I stand at the entrance to the restaurant on the last side of the cruise, and that's where I can see what kind of job we've done. That relationship between our guests and our crew, when the kids have to say goodbye, the hugs, and that really highlights for me what works. And very, very satisfying to see that. So for me, I think, and I'm cheating a little bit, but that's what I enjoy.
No problem cheating there, and I mean, it's just a great reminder that it is the reason why our cast, crew, employees of the Walt Disney Company are the honorary godparents of the Disney Treasure, because they are the real treasure, because they create the magic. So I think that's a beautiful answer. But we started with you, so now Juan, it's a tough act to follow, so what's your favorite?
Well, I'm going to piggyback on that and say that it's the cast of Plaza de Coco for me. It has been such an honor as someone who pursued a career in musical theater. There weren't always stories that were written with roles for me, and to now be a part of the solution, creating shows of my own, but then to be able to tell a Hispanic story that is authentic and be able to travel to Mexico and around the US and look for these authentic voices to tell their own story, but then one step further, share that in a way that every one of our guests, no matter where you're from, can identify with these characters, with this story, and learn something and grow and enrich your lives. That's the honor of my life.
Well said, beautiful. Shelley?
It's so hard to pick one. It's so unfair. But as Yolanda and Jason mentioned, we thrive on Walt Disney's love of exploration, and I think for me, that first moment that you step on board, the vibrant colours just embrace you as you walk into the Grand Hall. And it's not only the design, but also all the furnishings in those rich jewel tones of the reds and the blues and the greens. The theme of adventure is just infused into everything. So thank you, WDI partners.
Gary.
I'm going to say it's a WDI love fest right now. There's just I can't stress the amount of content that we have to play with. And one of the things I'm very proud of on this ship that we've been able to do is leverage Polynesian Parlor for photography and being able to have an experience in there where we can do that. the teams come up with a lot of great props for lightsabers that you can take photos, or the backdrops for Plaza de Coco, or just different ways that we add magic into a shot. So we're not just taking a photograph, we're taking a real experience of a memory, and we give you the look up here, and then you see that photo later, and there's some magic added to it. So I just think that with all of this great content from the Walt Disney Company, it's just such an honor to be able to take it and then transform it into something that you all love, and just by giving you those magic surprises. So I'm proud of the spa version. I mean, I'm proud of everything that we do on the show. So it's unfair to pick just one, but it's all pretty much amazing.
Fantastic. All right, Rachel, I can guess maybe where you and Jenny are going.
Maybe I'm gonna cheat a little bit. So, for me, and first of all, thank you so much for that wonderful response to the show last night. Like, Jenny and I were sat together watching the show. We were like two little kids. I was so excited. There's a lot of love and a tremendous team, as Jenny shared, that made this happen. But for our cast, to feel that response after months of rehearsal, it is what performers, it's just the love for them to perform, and the response that they received in both shows, in all the shows, and I've no doubt tonight as well, is very special. And we lived through them, like it's just amazing. And then secondly, honestly, in youth activities, when I see the littles in their Spider-Man costume, or whatever, and then Spider-Man walks in, they're living their best life. Like literally, and you know, it's secure programming, so you're like, I wish the parents could see this moment, but it's special to the littles and the experience that they have. And then on that same note, to stand there and watch the princess gathering in the Grand Hall, and the little girl meets her favorite princess for the first time. Whether you have littles or not, or just to watch that emotion is something that is completely unique to Disney, and it makes me very proud, and has done for 26 years, to be a part of this company. I get giddy every time I see that still. So that was like a BOGO type deal. Sorry, but I'll pass to Jenny.
It's okay, it's all right.
Well,
They've given us the steering wheel, right?
I'll build on that, because you're right, Rachel and I share a love for a lot of the same things. You know, there's really an incredible electric energy that happens when we all gather together to share an experience. There's a sense of community that we build on board our ships, the community of our crew, of course, but the guests become a community as well, especially in the course of a 7-night sailing. We really get to know each other on board, and it's really special. And so when we're all in the theater in the dark together on this incredible emotional journey, we're not sharing it with strangers. We're sharing it with the community that we're all a part of. And so that incredible pulse of electric energy that I'm sure you also all felt last night in the theater during Moana, I certainly felt. It was a special thing to share with all of you. And whether that's happening in the theater with a show like Moana, which I would feel like kind of builds to a fever pulse of the audience, just more and more excited and engaged, or whether it's happening in Plaza de Coco, where we're engaging, maybe it's with your own culture, or maybe it's with a culture that's different from your own, that's reminding you of your ancestors, your family, your heritage, and you're sharing that journey with everyone all around you, or you're laughing hysterically and choose wisely, or, as is the case for me and my toddler, dancing like lunatics at every character dance party or live music show like we love to do. It's doing it all as part of this larger Disney treasure community that feels so precious to me.
Jason, you do have to follow that.
Yeah.
You've got this.
Well, actually, I'm going to cheat a little bit and see what Shelley's answer. For me, it is the Grand Vault. It's my favorite baseball. It's really hard to choose one. But just the moment you walk in, how it sets the tone for everything that you're going to experience on the ship. It's so distinctly different from any of our other ships, but it really just gives you the jumping off point for all the adventures that you're going to explore. But I'm also going to say, I'm going to give you a photo here too. All of these spaces, when I think about all the spaces, it reminds me of everything that went into it. And we all up here represent hundreds of crew members and cast members and Imagineers that brought this to life. All the people that I work with on my team who aren't up on the stage, but did so much and everyone here. That's the thing that I remember most when I'm thinking about all the spaces here, is everything we went into Fountain.
Well, I thank you all, so thank you all. Now, let's give them a hand. I think that you can see their passion here. Well, it doesn't say here on my cue cards any longer. What's your favorite part? I'll tell you anyway. But it's short and it's sweet. It is everything that the panel said, but I am so proud of the way we tell authentic stories and the way we stir the spirit of our guests. We deliver magic, and they walk off of every ship, the treasure, now the newest, to add to that, transform, refresh, happy, smiling, and infused with magic. And we do that in everything that you all do. In a stage show, in a keepsake, when you lie down, having great experiences, great food, bringing stories to life. And I think you can see we are all so proud to present our newest ship to our guests. So with that, we couldn't end on a better note than to then defer to you all. So hopefully everyone's had a chance to think of their questions. But the panelists here, we'd love to get as many of your questions in as possible. So Gabriel is here, Melanie is there, so there are mics around. So who has been thinking of a question? Turn it over to you.
Thank you all so much for what you did to bring this ship to life. Jason, you mentioned this ship being distinctly different. I think from the moment you stepped foot on board, the first word that came to mind to me was there's a sense of warmth, not just in the tones and the color palette, but really leaning into the parks and leaning into a sense of nostalgia. There's this common thread that I think is woven through a lot of what we experience. And you talk about family, from going from Moana to what we're going to see in Coco tonight. For whoever feels that they want to answer, talk about the importance of sort of the emotional resonance of this ship and what that means.
Thank you for such a wonderful question. Something that I think was a little bit of a surprise for at least the live entertainment team in our creative process. When we set out to create specifically the tale of Moana and our Plaza de Coco entertainment dining experience, we didn't realize that we were setting out to tell two stories that really exist in conversation with one another. We discovered that along the way, but through the writing and rehearsal of these stories, we realized there's a prevailing theme on this ship, which is all about, not to put it in such simple and cheesy terms, but I know the coriander and sage are going to say it so beautifully this evening, Treasure Found. But they're going to talk to you about what the real treasure is, right? And I think we all know that that lies within family, and that lies within community, and a sense of heritage. And so something that Moana and Coco so deeply have in common. And these are stories about young people, deeply rooted in heritage, rooted in tradition, rooted in a sense of family, who are learning how to navigate being an individual within a community, within a heritage, and finding how they honor their own individual voice while honoring their ancestors and their culture. It's a beautiful theme to kind of find unexpectedly woven through so much of what we're doing here. And it's not to say that everything that's on this ship, as you well know, is not all laden with heavy meaning like that. Character dance party is a character dance party, and we're here to have fun. But I think what's so rich is having fun with your family and also being able to share deep, meaningful, emotionally rich stories together. I'll just quickly say, my parents just sailed with me on our last preview cruise, as we sat together in Plaza de Coco, which doesn't reflect our heritage. My mother was just grabbing and shaking my arm, grabbing my arm. She couldn't believe we were getting to share a story together, not to call you my mother, but grabbing me. We're all family here. And it's just it's a precious, precious thing that we get to share with one another. I love that about the show.
Richard?
It's Richard True on the Sentinel. I guess this could be for Jason or Juan or Jenny. Cultural consultants. You might be doing today, not one but two. Is that that seems like probably the largest approach to the ship where you have to do that. Is that what you found when building out the treasure? And I just want to know, when you're exploring a new space that is based on something fictional but also based on reality, how do you unpack building out a new space that pulls from both those? So, there you go.
Yeah, well, we do use a lot of cultural consultants, not just to check ourselves, but for inspiration as well. There's so many diverse stories on the ship, so the authenticity of walking down that hallway to Plaza de Coco with Val Brige in the corridor there, working with artists from Moana to create that. I think it's more inspirational than anything. Hearing authentic stories and being able to represent those, even in the map and in one of the statements of Moana's map, trying to make sure that we got that right. For us, it's not just a matter of being accurate. It's taking inspiration from those stories, and it really just makes our designs so much richer to do that.
Great question, thanks, Richard.
Hi, excuse me, Dave Munn from the UK. You're about to, or you're planning to more than double the fleet. So will you be able to fill those ships with the Disney diehards who know every character and appreciate every nuance that you've mentioned? And if not, how do you appeal to a wider demographic?
Yeah, so if you don't mind, I'm happy to jump into that one. It's a great question because we spent a lot of time during the sailing talking about this unprecedented period of growth that we're in. As you mentioned, between 2027 and 2031, right, we'll be up to 13 ships in our fleet. One of the things we're super excited about is there's tremendous demand for Disney cruise vacation. And when you think about how we're expanding and growing to service those different audiences, we are bringing 2 different ships online next year. So in November of 2025, we'll welcome the Disney Destiny as the newest sister ship to the Wish and the Treasure. In the same year, next year, in December of next year, we'll be bringing our first ship, the Disney Adventure, to Singapore, where she'll be home ported there. In 2029, in partnership with OLC, we'll introduce our first ship in Japan, and the list goes on. And so when you think about the new ships we have online, what we hear from our guests is that they want more immersive storytelling. The business is incredibly strong, and so understanding demand for these stories, these immersive experiences, and all that a Disney vacation is, we believe that we're delivering absolutely what our guests want from us, and it certainly pencils out. That is great question. Thank you. We're excited to be in this period of growth.
When you think about Disney cruise and you think about the experience that we have great crew, we have great entertainment, we have great dining options, we have great ambiance on the ship. That's just a great cruise experience no matter where you are. So we build it and we have the most incredible crew to operate what we have here. That's the secret sauce. That's the magic in what we do. Quite frankly, we've got a lot of great IP that we have to work with, but the crew, the entertainment, and these are Broadway quality shows. These are amazing. So I think we can. So I think it's just, we're building an incredible product, and what we have is what it's just going to appeal because of what we have today, proven entertainment. It's just, there's so much.
Yeah, and so many stories yet to tell, right? Our Disney library, we still have quite a bit of runway, so many more stories to unpack and tell on board our ships. And it's a new and fun way for our guests to experience those stories on board our ships. So we're excited about that. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Courtney from The Source Magazine. One thing I noticed is there's a lot of heart tugging on this book. So last night I watched the show with my 8-year-old daughter, and my mom, she's battling cancer. So when the grandmother died, I looked at my daughter and I almost panicked because I'm like, oh my God, this is not going to be good. But I love the way it turns around and how it turns into just a family moment. And I want to know, are you guys purposely bringing back family traditions where, like, how I was brought up? We didn't have any telephones and iPads. My daughter wasn't interested in any electronics the whole time she was here. Is that done on purpose?
If I may, thank you for that wonderful question. I think we are really interested in offering our guests, no matter their age, the opportunity to kind of step away from the mundane of their day-to-day lives into something that's more magical and more meaningful. And for most of us, regardless of our age, our day-to-day lives heavily include our digital devices. And for me at least, part of a vacation is having the opportunity to step away from that and connect in a different way. I think that's true for guests of all ages. And I also want to speak to what you said about making room for grief in our story experiences. The Walt Disney Company, our stories have always been about, laugh accompanied by the tear, and inviting our guests to go on an emotional journey that's really reflective of the journey of life. And it's a gift to get to tell these stories on stage in so many different ways and so many different mediums, but we would be doing stories like Moana and Coco a disservice if we didn't invite the opportunity to acknowledge loss within these stories, at the same time acknowledging them from a place of beauty and a place of transformation and a place of celebration that I think can feel really meaningful and really empowering.
Yeah, I will just add from this is the ship and coming together as a family. You've talked a lot about family. It's that ability to disconnect, and now you have time because we're all going at such a fast pace. When you're here, you've got time to stop and enjoy together. Enjoy the shows, enjoy, we've got 2 boutique movie theatres here on board, right? You can enjoy that together as a family. You can enjoy the programming that we have as a family. So, yeah, is it intentional? Absolutely. It is intentional that we want our guests to enjoy their family vacation time together. Now, that said, as we mentioned earlier, separation is good sometimes on vacations. I mean, let's be honest, right? Everybody needs a little bit of space, and we can cater to that too. So, yes, I would definitely say that is part of our intention.
And I'll just jump in here and say, I really love what you both said, and I love what Jenny said about when I think about the classic Disney stories that I grew up with, and those of us that have lost mothers or grandmothers or grandparents or members of our family in the circle of life. I think about Simba's journey that he went on, and how it's tough to lose Mufasa, right? But then he, stepped into who he was, and he became, the king. Moana on her great adventurous journey, and how she found her way back to her family. And so even in that learning of that story, taking them through the evolution, and showing what happens on the backside of that story. Every Disney story that we love shows, how they overcome, how they end up on the other side of the journey. So as I heard you say in your question, I love how at the end, you were able to see Moana standing in her own power, finding her voice, having completed her adventure and her journey. And so what we love about Disney stories is they get to see that piece of it as well. How you persevere, how you overcome, and how through your community and your family, through these amazing stories, show, where they end, on the other side of that adventure, that journey. Or sometimes going through what the shadowy lands or whatever it might be. Does that answer your question? Okay. Thank you for that question. It's a great question.
Hello everyone, it's Jennifer from the newspaper in Australia. I am wondering what sustainability measures you have taken with the build, but also from a passenger perspective in the rooms and such.
Yeah, so when it comes to the rooms, we have really had a long, hard focus on ensuring that we're meeting our environmental goals from the Disney Company. You've probably noticed over this past several years, we got rid of the single-use plastics in all of our amenities. So they're all reusable dispensers that are sanitized every cruise, so you're okay. And then, of course, we used to do plastic laundry bags in the closet. We've moved away from all of that. We've moved to the 100% cotton, and of course they're laundered as well. Our laundry facility here on board the Disney Treasure, and actually on all of the Disney Cruise Line ships, we are very focused on saving water. And so we don't always use potable water in our tunnel washers and in our laundry. We actually use technical water combined with potable water that allows for us to use very little water. And so all of our chemicals are high efficiency chemicals, don't reduce, we have very few subs and so forth. But yeah, our focus is very strong on this initiative and for us to continue on that journey.
and statements. And I would just add overall, from a Disney Cruise Line fleet perspective, in addition to conserving water, we are focused on energy efficiency, making our ships hopefully some of the most energy efficient ships on the water. That is a priority for our fleet. And so we focus very heavily on being aligned with Walt Disney Company's 2030 goals for the environment, protecting the ocean, conserving water, energy efficiency. So it is a top priority for us as a cruise line and also as a company. So thank you for that question. We have time for one more question. Who's been dreaming of a question?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we
Karen
can.
Trade. Thank you so much for having us on board. I just wanted to ask about the tower suite. How hot in demand is it, and how far ahead do you have to book at that suite?
The demand is very, very high. The demand is very, very high. You know, as I saw you today in the Tomorrow Tower suite, and you know, it does accommodate 8 guests, and so extended families, friends traveling together, it really does accommodate with nearly 2,000 square feet of living space, you know, with 4 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms. You know, it caters to an awful lot of our guests' needs. We just recently added on the Disney Dream a Fantasia Tower suite when we took our Disney Dream in for maintenance at Dry Dock. So the demand is definitely there, and we're excited to show that crown jewel off to all of our guests.
Yeah, and it's really exciting to work with our team to design this to give it a theme of Epcot's, the Tomorrow Tower Suite. You see lots of little touches and references to Epcot's unique artwork in there. So I think it's a really beautiful, amazing space. There's just nothing else like it, not in there. And it's really, really beautiful. And I'm not at all surprised that it's as popular as it is.
And I must admit, you know, ever since we've had not only yourself, but even during the preview cruises, you know, just listening to the emotional memories of Epcot from when guests were a child, and all of those little nuggets that are in there with Figment, and oh, it's incredible. But you know, the one component of the Tomorrow Tower suite that inspires me more than anything is that one-of-a-kind chandelier that is in the living room. You know, all of those iridescent glass panels, the minute that the sunlight comes through the windows and hits onto that beautiful chandelier, it's a kaleidoscope of colors that just circle that whole living room. Oh, it's spectacular, and I love it.
Thank you for saying that. It's a lot of work with installation. Design a lot of work. So yeah.
It's very inspirational to me.
Thank you, Shelley. That's a beautiful note for us to end on. Unfortunately, we are out of time for questions, but thank you to the panel. But our cruise is not over yet. You're not done yet. You have one more night. So there is still a lot to experience. We have really enjoyed having all of you on board and your families. We hope you continue to enjoy all that the Disney Treasure has to offer. We still have a big night ahead. Beauty and the Beast, right? Tonight in the theater, Plaza de Coco. We'll be dining, and so we invite you to continue to enjoy and create treasured moments. So thank you all again for being with us, and we'll see you around the ship.